Okay, guys, welcome back. So today we're just going to finish off where we left in the last tutorial. We did part one of this landing page. In this tutorial, we're going to create this project section here, this client section, this CTA section, and the footer. And you'll see that it's all responsive as well. So it looks great on mobile devices and kind of medium-sized displays as well. When we go to medium screen, you can see we get the kind of two-column layout applied. And we're also just going to apply these animations as well, these kind of subtle fading animations. When we scroll down, you'll see we get a nice kind of fading effect and then this line animation effect as well. Okay, so yeah, let's get going. Thanks, guys. Hi guys, welcome back. So this is part two of this landing page tutorial. So in the first tutorial, you remember we created this hero section here. We created this about section with the service tiles for our web design agency. And then we just began to implement the projects section. Okay, so in this tutorial, we're going to finish off the project section. We're then going to create a client list, and then we'll also add a final call to action section as well as a footer to this landing page to complete the project. And then we'll implement the responsiveness as well as the JavaScript animations, fade-ins, that kind of thing. Okay, so let's continue. So what I want to do now is just create an object of our, or a JavaScript array of our projects. Okay, so then we can do a similar thing like we did with these tiles and just use JavaScript to lay them out on the website. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually just going to come back to ChatGPT here, and I'm just going to say create a JavaScript array of projects. So the array should contain 4 objects, and then each object should include an image path, or an image, sorry. We'll add a title, a description, and a list of web design services provided in an array. Okay, so let's just see if that gives us 4 projects. Okay, cool. So it's giving me, oh no, I don't want carpentry, I want okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll go them for now. That's fine, no worries. Okay, so we've got projects. So I'm just going to come under here, and then we'll just say projects here. Okay, so you can see now we've got our array of projects. Each one has an image. So I'm just actually going to point these to the images in our assets folder. Okay, so to do that, we can just say /assets /images /1.avif. And then for the second one, we'll do /assets /images, and then /2, and that's a JPEG. And then yeah, we'll copy this down for the third one here, and that can be free. And then the final one is a AVIF, so 4.avif. Just paste that in, and we can just say here 4.avif. Okay, so there's our projects, and we have our list of kind of web design services here. So we just yeah, these are the kind of, this could be anything you want really, just whether it's web development, UI, UX, that kind of thing. Okay, and then we have a description as well, but I don't think we'll be using that for this landing page, to be honest. We just want these services for now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just say export projects as well. Okay, so now we can come back to our app.js, and now we can import this projects as well. And if we console.log projects, just to make sure we are seeing that in the console. So come back to our Code Solutions landing page, and then in the console here, you'll see we have, okay, why is that not showing up? Okay, yeah, we have our projects here now. Okay, so there you go, with the image, that kind of thing. Right, now what we want to do is we can just say, we want to come back to our app.js file now. And now we're just going to loop through, like we did with our services, we're just going to now loop through all of our projects. We can say projects, dot for each, and then we'll just say project like so. And then here, what we're going to do is we're going to say let project div equal documents dot create element, and then we want to create a div element here. And then for this project div, we're just going to say dot class list. So we're going to add two classes to this. The first one being project for our CSS, and then we're also just going to add the fading class to each of these projects so we can get that nice animated in effect. So fade double underscore in like so. Then under here we're going to say let image equal document dot create element again, and then we'll just create an image, and then we'll just say image dot source src, and that's going to equal project dot image that we have here. Then the next thing we want to do, we'll just say let title, and that's going to equal document dot create element. And then we can just say we'll do a h4 for our titles. So we say h4, and then we can say title dot text content, and that's going to equal the project dot title. Okay, and then underneath this we'll just say let services div equal document dot create element div again. Create a div, and then in here we can say services div dot class list dot add, and then we'll just add project underscore services like so. And then what we want to do now is loop through each of the project services. Okay, so loop through this array. We want to create a little, basically just a little div for each service that we're going to append to this project services div here. So what we can do here, we'll say project dot services dot for each, and then we can just say for each service. I'll just use an S for now to represent service, each service. And then we'll say let service equal document dot create element, and we'll just create a paragraph element for this, like a p element, and we'll just say p like so. And then we'll say service dot class name, and that's going to equal service. And then here we'll say service dot text content, and that's just going to equal s. So that's what the service that we pass in here in the for each function, which is just going to be, the text content or the string. So we're going to pass in the string, create that paragraph, make that the text content as well. And then we're just going to say services div dot append child, and then we can just append the service like so. And then we'll come out the for loop, and then what we can do now, we'll just say project div dot append append, and we're going to append the image, we're going to append the title, and then we're going to append the services div. So those three elements. And then do we have a projects grid in here? So if I come down here, you can see we have our container. Now what I want to do, we have a container, and I'm just going to give this another class. I'm going to call this projects underscore grid like so. Okay, and then what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to create, so if I come back to my app.js, to the top of the page, I'm just going to say, we'll come under here and we'll just say const projects grid equals document dot query selector, and we'll just say dot projects grid. Okay, so now what I can do is if we come down under here, we'll say projects grid dot append child, and now we can append that project div like so. So let's see what we've got. Nothing showing up there, so it might have an error. So project div dot class list is not a function. Okay, so why is that error occurring? 939. If you come here, project div, class list, that should be dot add. Okay, so now our projects have been added there. You can see they're quite big at the moment. We need to apply CSS to these, but yeah, it looks like if we move across here, we've got each of our projects added to the page. Okay, so now let's adjust this with some CSS. So if we come to our style.css now, and we'll come below our service tile here, and what we want to do, I'm just going to call this section projects. Like so, we'll comment that out. And then what I want to do, we'll just first target the projects grid. So I'll say projects grid. And we'll just say, I want to give this a gap of 1 rem. Like so. And yeah, okay. And then for each project, so we'll come underneath this, we'll say dot project. And here we'll just say position relative. And then we'll do grid column, and we'll just say span 3, like so. And then we'll say display flex, and then we'll do flex direction column. Okay, so now you can see that they're spanning 3 grid columns now, each of our projects. Okay, obviously they look a bit uneven at the moment, we'll change that. And then what I want to do here is we'll just say gap of 1 rem. And what that will do is it just gives 1 rem space between each of our kind of, the image and the title, and then the services here. And then we'll also just say cursor pointer as well. So when you hover, you get the cursor, the hover cursor applied, or the pointer cursor. And then next we want to do is just say project, and we want to target the image elements next. And here, for the images, we're just going to give these a square aspect ratio. Okay, we want them to be squares. So to do that, we can just say 1/1, and now you get that nice square even aspect ratio. And then I want to say object fit, and we can say cover. Okay, so just to show what that does, you can see the images are stretched at the moment. And what this will do, this will just preserve the aspect ratio. So now that I've done that, the aspect ratio is preserved for our images, and they're the original aspect ratio. And then what we want to do now is just say border, and I'm going to give these a border of 1 pixel solid, and we'll just say black, but I just want to bring make it slightly transparent. So we'll bring the opacity down somewhere along the kind of, here should do. Just give it a subtle kind of black border around our images. It's quite smart. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's come underneath. We'll just next target our project services. So we'll just say .project _ services, like so. And here I'm just going to say padding of 0.5 rem, like so. Just give them a bit of padding. And then we can also just say a background color. And I'm just going to give these kind of like a grey background color. So let's just, like a really subtle grey, like so. So we go for that, EC, EC, EC. And then I also just want to say a border radius, okay, of 10 pixels. Oh, 10 pixels, sorry. 10 pixels. And then we'll also just say, I just want to give these a font size, a really small font size as well. So say font size, and I'm just going to go point, and 694 rem. Maybe could go smaller actually. Let's try. Actually, that's what I want to do here. I'll probably put that in the wrong. Yeah, let's put that in each service. Sorry, let's just be service. Yeah, service. Like so. Let's change that back to 6. Okay, so now what I want to do, now we want to do the project services. We'll come above that, we'll say project services, and here we'll just say display flex. Let's bring them next to each other, and we'll say a gap of 0.5 rem. Of 0.5 rem, and then we'll also just say flex wrap. Okay, so it's looking okay. Yeah, flex wrap. Okay, it's not collapsing. Oh, okay, sorry, it needs to go in here. Flex wrap, like so. Okay, now we can see that they're they get wrapped now when we go on smaller screens. Okay, so that's looking good. And I think that is pretty much it for our our services. Now let's move on to kind of our clients list. This is going to be fairly simple. So what I'm going to do is we'll come back to our index.html, and we're next going to create a section with a class with an ID of clients. So we'll come back here, we'll come underneath this section, we'll say section here, section, and it's going to have an ID of clients, like so. We'll have a div of a class of container, like we always do, and then in here we'll have a h3, and here this will just be just say clients, like so. And then if let's just come down a bit. Okay, so now what I want to do here is we'll do a style on this, and we'll just say grid column, and we'll just say span 12, and then also we'll just say margin bottom of 2 rem, just give it that bit of white space underneath. Okay, and then underneath here I just want to I'm just going to go into list 5 random clients. Okay, so we'll come out underneath the h3, we'll come underneath this, and I'm just going to say, well, we'll do a div of a class of line. Okay, and then we'll come underneath this div, and then we'll just say dot client, and then we'll also give this class of fade in as well. Okay, and then in here I will just do a h4, and I'll just say client 1. Again, use whatever client names you want for this. This is just for the purpose of this tutorial. I'm going to copy this down 3 more times. We'll have 4 different clients. Or we can have we'll have 5 clients. Okay, so then we'll just change this to 2. Then we can say 3. We'll say 4. And then we'll say 5. Okay, so that's it for our HTML. So it doesn't look great at the moment, but we'll adjust this now. So we'll come back to our CSS, and then what we'll do here, underneath this projects or this services, I'm just going to say clients next. So this is the client section, and then here we'll say hashtag clients. So we'll target the section, and I'm just going to say margin. We'll just say 40 pixels and 0. And okay, and then underneath this, I'm just going to next target our actual client. So for each client, we'll just say position relative, and then we'll just say overflow hidden as well. And then we want the grid column to span 12, like so. So they all span one section, the whole width of the page. And then we'll just give these a bit of padding as well. So padding of 2 rem at the top and 0 to the left and right, to give a bit of space in there. And then we'll just say background color var, we'll just say BG color, like so. And then the lines, so for the line, we'll just say position relative again, and then we'll say here grid column, 1, we'll just say span 12 again, like so. And then we'll give these a height of 1 pixel. So if we just do background color of red, you can see there's our lines that have occurred there. Actually, I want to do just 1 line underneath as well. Okay, and then if we, what I want to do is just make this a gradient actually. So we'll say background, and here we'll just say linear gradient, and then we can say to the right, and here we'll just say var gradient 1, and we want it to go to the gradient 2, gradient 2. Okay, so now we have those nice gradient lines occurred, and then we're going to animate these in when we scroll down the page. So to do that, we want these to be at an initial position of scale, well, a scale of 0. So we're going to say transform origin here. Let's close that CSS off. We'll say transform origin, and we'll just say left. So we want it to transform from the left, so it expands from the left basically. That's what we're saying there. And then we'll do transform here. We'll say scale of 0. Okay, so it's basically scale to the 0. So there's basically nothing, and it will scale up to 1, which means it will scale up to its original length when we fade it in or transition it in. We'll say transition, we'll just say 3 seconds, nice slow transition, and then we'll just say will change as well, and we'll say transform, like so. And then we'll say dot line, dot active, and then here we'll just say transform, and then we'll just say scale of 1. Okay, so that will expand when it comes in. Okay, now the next thing I want to do here, that's it for our clients. So now let's just finally do this last CTA section. So we'll come back to our index.html file here, and we can say, it will come underneath this section. I'll do another section here, and this will have an ID of CTA. We'll do ID CTA section. As always, we'll have a container, and above this container, I'm just going to put that another grid in here, so another square grid, because I think it looks quite smart at the bottom. So we'll just say canvas, and do I give this an ID? Yeah, we'll say canvas. Yeah, so okay, we'll query select 12, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I just noticed there was a spelling mistake there, but it doesn't really affect anything. Let's just change that anyway. So square canvas, I'm going to copy this down. Actually, I'll copy all of these down. So we want the left gradient, the right gradient. So let's just put those in here. Okay, so we have a canvas now. You can see our canvas has appeared slightly. And then we also just want a top gradient as well, because we want it to fade in from the top. Gradient. Okay, and now in our, so we'll just, for this, we'll keep this a relatively simple call to action section. So we'll just say in our container, we'll say h3 ready to transform your digital presence, or whatever you want, just whatever tagline you want for your agency website. And then next thing we want to do is we'll say, okay, next thing we'll do, come under here, and then we'll do a H5, and here, contact us today and let's get building, something like that. Come up with what you want. Use ChatGPT if you have to. And then we'll just say underneath this, we'll say .cta double underscore button, And actually I'm going to wrap that in an A tag, and I'll just say class.cta button, and then in here we'll put this div in. I'll remove that class, and this div I'll give it a style. I'll say the color of white, just to give it some white text. I'll just say start your project, like so. Okay, so let's now, I also just want to put, like an arrow SVG in there. So let's go to, I can't remember what the, bear me a second guys, I just need to get the name of that icon, SVG icon. Okay, so we're going to get an SVG. We'll just go to that Phosphor Icons website. So let's do that now. Phosphor Icons. And then I'm just going to say, arrow to the right. We'll take this one. I'll copy the SVG. And 24 pixels. And we can just basically, we'll come up underneath this and paste that in. Okay, so now what I want to do, I'm just going to give this a feel of FFF as well. So let's do that now. So feel, let's make it white. Okay, so now let's come to the CSS, and then we'll just do the CTA section. Okay, and then under here, what we'll say is, okay, so we'll just do CTA section. I'll say overflow hidden. And then we also want the padding as well. So say padding of 160 to the top and bottom, and then 0 to the left and right, just to give a bit of white space for us. Okay, so that looks good. And then, so we'll just say here, if I got, sorry, bear me a second, what I should have done. In the container. Let's just do another div of a class of .cta final, like so. And then we'll also just say fade in, give that a class of fade in. We'll put that in the class. And then we'll also just say, I want to give this a style as well. Actually, no, we won't. So we'll come under here and we'll put all of our content in. In there. So we'll just copy this down, put that in there like so. Okay, so now what I want to do, come back to our style.cts, we'll say .cta underscore final, and then we can just say text align. Oh no, we'll do a grid column first. So say grid column span 12, and then I want to say text align center, like so. That's now nice and centered. Okay, and then next thing I want to do is we'll say justify content center, and then align item center as well. And then we also just need to display flex. And then we just want to do a flex direction as well of column. And then we'll do a gap of 1 rem. Okay, and grid column span 12. Okay, cool, that's looking good. Now next thing I want to do is just target the button. So we'll just say .cta button. And here again we'll say display flex. And then we'll say justify content center. Align item center to basically just center and align the text within our CTA button. And then we'll say padding of 1 rem. We'll do a background color of 161616. Okay, why can't we see that? Okay, so that's showing up now, that's good. And then next thing I want to do here is just say 61616. We'll do a gap of 1 rem in there as well. Gap 1 rem. Just to give a gap between the arrow. And then we'll also just say width, fit content. And then we'll do a border radius of 10 pixels. Border radius. Okay, and yep, now what I want to understand is why are we not seeing that fade in? So if we go to the CTA section, got the left gradient, got the right gradient. Let's do some, might have to do some Z indexes here. Okay, so what we'll do, the canvas is appearing in front of everything at the moment. So let's target, have we got a canvas in our CSS? Canvas. Okay, and then for the CTA final, let's come up here, we'll say CTA final, and we can just say here position relative, and I'll give this a Z index of 2. So that brings that in front of the grid. Now I just want these left, these left gradients. So let's find that left gradient, and here I'm going to give these a Z index of 2. Okay, yes, now we've got that slight gradient. Do the same thing for the right. So we now have that kind of subtle fading occurring. That's looking good. And I just want to do it for the top gradient as well now. So let's just copy this down, and I'll come under here and I'll just say top gradient. Z index of 2, top 0, left 0. I want to give this a width of 100% this time, and we'll give it a height of 20%, just to give it that kind of subtle fading from the top. And then that should be 2 bottom. Now we get that kind of nice subtle fading effect from all sides. Okay, so that's looking good for our kind of CTA section. Now let's just do a footer. So footer, and here, so let's actually go into our this section here. We'll say footer, and in our footer we'll have a div of a class of container again, and I'll give this a separate footer container class as well, because we want to do some separate colorings for our footer. It's going to be darker than the rest of the website. And then in here I'm actually just going to copy down our logo from our header section. So we can grab this SVG here. And let's just paste that in here like so. We close the SVG off here, yeah. Okay, so there's our SVG, our logo at the bottom there. And then I'm just going to do like, this actually we should put this in the footer column as well. So I'm just going to say dot footer column like so. And then we'll just wrap our SVG in that footer column. And we'll space that out. Okay, and then under here, we're going to have a P. I'm just going to put an address in here. So 123 Design Street. And then we'll do a break line. We'll say London, UK, EC to M123. And then we'll just do a couple of more break lines here. So BR and then BR. And here we'll just put an address, an email address, so info@codesolutions.com, and then we can just have a number here, so BR, and we'll just say, I don't know, 01245 123456 for a phone number. Okay, so there's our address and our email and contact number there. And then the next thing I want to do here is we'll say we'll have another kind of column, footer column. So we'll come underneath this footer column here, we'll have another one. Footer column, and in here we'll just have like a newsletter, so we can say P, stay updated. Stay updated. And then we'll just do another P. We'll just say, subscribe to our newsletter for the latest updates and insights. And then underneath this we'll do a form, so we'll say form here, and then we'll just say input. Type will be email. We can just say class email as well, and then we'll just do a placeholder here. Enter your email like so. As you can see, there's our email field, and then we can come underneath this and just say input, and this will be a submit button, and then we'll just do value of subscribe. Okay, and there's our button. And let's spell subscribe properly. Cool. And then finally, what we're going to do here underneath this div, we'll say dot footer bottom, and then here we'll just have a div, and then here we'll just say P, and then we'll just say copyright. I'm just going to get the copyright icon here. Copyright, and then we can just say 2024 code solutions, or 25 rather, sorry. You could use JavaScript to dynamically update this, but we'll do that. That's for another tutorial. Code solutions, all rights reserved. And then we'll come underneath here and we'll just say dot. We'll come out of this div. We'll do another div with some footer links. We'll say A, we'll say privacy policy. And then here we'll just say, I don't know, terms of service. Okay, so now we just need to tidy this up a bit. So we're going to come to our CSS now. And so for our footer section, we'll just say footer, we'll say position relative, and then we can say a width of 100%. We'll give it a background color of 161616. So nice dark background. And then we'll say display flex. And then we can also just say justify content. We'll say center the content. And then we'll just say a padding of 40 pixels and 0. So you have a nice padding now. And then underneath this, we'll just say footer, all the A elements, we'll say color of white, like so. So now our A tags are white. And then we'll just say footer A hover. We'll just say opacity of 0.7. So now we hover, we get that opacity. And then underneath this, we'll just say .footer column, like so. And then we can just say grid column. We'll say span 6 to fill half of the footer. And then underneath this, we'll also just say display flex. And then we'll just say flex direction of column. And then we can just say a gap of 1 rem. Okay, and then what I want to do now is just say we'll target our footer container. Okay, and then we'll just say all divs within our footer container and p tags, we'll just say color of white. Okay, so now all of our text is white. And then underneath this, we'll just say .footer bottom. And here we'll just say display flex as well. Display flex. And then we'll say justify content, space between. And that should be footer bottom. Okay, and then space between. And then we'll say margin top of 2 rem. Like so. And then we'll say a padding of 1 rem as well. 1 rem and 0. And what else? Padding, okay. We'll do a border top. 1 pixel solid grey. And we also just need to span 12. So we'll just say, grid column, span 12. Actually, what we could do here is I might just make this that gradient. So I'm going to copy this to the right and we'll just put this Does that work? No, that doesn't work. I'll just do a border top for now, just keep it simple. If you want, you can just do kind of a div there, but we'll just keep the border top. We'll do var gradient 1, see how that looks. That's fine, we'll go with that. And then I think that's pretty much it. Then footer links, so we can just say .footer links. So the footer links was actually what we need to do. I think we need to put that class list in. So I'm just going to give this a class of footer links. Footer links, and then we can just say, we'll come in here, footer links, and we'll say display flex, and we'll do a gap of 1 rem, just to give them a gap between those links, like so. Nice little gap now. And then for the form, let's just make this a bit smaller. So we'll say the form, we can say display flex, we'll say justify content space between, and then we can say a gap of 0.5 rem. And then for the email, so we'll do .email, we'll do a padding of 0.5 rem, like so. We'll do a background color, and we'll make it kind of this dark. Actually, we'd put it as black, but with a slight see-through. Okay, and then the next thing I want to do here is say border, none, take the border off, and then we'll do a border radius of 10 pixels, and then we can do, actually let's just make that, let's just make that white actually. Okay, and then if I make that 0.1, how does that look? Yeah, that's fine. And then we can say here color var secondary text. Okay, looking good. And then we'll also just say flex, just flex, and then 8, like so. And then for the, what class did we put on the button? So for the submit, we'll come underneath here, we'll say .submit, and then we can just say border radius, we'll do padding again of 0.5 rem. We'll do again a border radius 10 pixels. We'll do flex 2, and then we'll also just say border none, and then we'll do color, and we'll say var main text, like so, and background color can be secondary text, background color var secondary text. Let's give it that white color, and that's pretty much it. So now what I want to do is just do some media queries just to tidy it up when we kind of go on smaller screens. So that's looking okay sort of here, but yeah, we just need to tidy up for make it responsive. So what I'm going to do is we'll just say at media, and this is for medium sizes, and I'll just say max width, and we can say here 500 pixels. Actually no, we'll go 900 pixels, sorry, 900 pixels for medium devices, not 500, that's for mobile. And then I'm just going to copy over some styles. Remember, for the start of our project, we basically use these font sizes here. We're just going to decrease the font sizes for the smaller screen. So I'm just going to paste them over from Typescale. So for our P's and our footer links, we have this font size here, which is 0.833. For H5s, the font size is 1 rem. For H4s, 1.2. For H3, the font size is 1.44. For H2, the font size is 1.728. And for H1s, we have this 2.074 rem. Okay, now underneath this, we'll grab our service tile. And here we'll just say grid column. And we're going to make it span 6 instead of 3. Okay, so now you'll see when we get to our service tiles now, so when we get to a medium 900 pixel screen, they span, you get 2 columns. That's what we're doing there. We'll do the same thing for project as well. So we can just say, well, we'll come under here, do a comment, we'll say .project. So now you'll see that our projects also span 2 columns as opposed to the 4 columns. Okay, so that's looking neat. And then, so the intro area, we also just want that to span 8. You'll see at the moment our text goes a bit squashed. So I'll bring that above here. I'll just say dot intro area, and we'll say grid column span 8. Okay, and that looks nice on kind of medium devices now. Okay, and then so what we want to do now is just adjust for mobile devices. So I'm just going to copy this, and here we'll just do for 500 pixel screens, so basically mobile devices. And we're just going to make the font size even smaller for mobile devices. So I'm going to do the same thing we did before. Now these are all in scale. I've just got these off of that font type scale website, which I showed you in the first video. But here, yeah, so if we go to type scale, I'll just show you. Or is it font scale? No, it's type scale. Yeah, I'm basically just using these numbers here. So 0.694, 0.833. So this is for our smaller size screens. So we're using this kind of this type scale here. Okay. I think this is the minor third type scale. Yeah, the minor third. This one here. Okay. So now I've got those font sizes there. Next thing I want to do here is we're just going to say for mobile devices, we kind of don't really want this header UL anymore, so we're just going to say header UL display none, like so, to get rid of that. And then we're going to create a hamburger menu, so we'll say hamburger, and we'll just say display flex, like so. We haven't created our hamburger yet, we'll put that in the HTML. Actually, let's do it now. So if you come to our HTML, and we can just come up to our header section. So yeah, we'll come into our header. And actually, no, we'll go into our main. We'll do it above here. We can just say dot hamburger, like so. And then we'll just add 3 span elements in here. Okay, and then if we come back to our style.css, we can just say yep, and what do we want to do for a hamburger? Okay, so for our hamburger, we are going to say position fixed. We're then just going to say top, we want it to be 32 pixels from the top. And then we'll say right, we'll say 2.5% from the right of the screen. And then we'll say a width of 30 pixels. Let's just do a background here of red, just so we can see what we're working with. We'll give it a height of 16 pixels. Okay. So I can see something there. Okay. Let's try VW 2.5 viewport widths. Okay, we'll go for that for now, and then we'll just say a height of 16, a width of 30 pixels. We'll say, yeah, a Z index of, well, we'll just do 100 just to bring it in front of everything. Okay, so there's our hamburger menu there, and then we can just say we'll say, yeah, flex direction of column. And then we'll also just say justify content, space between. And yeah, cool. Okay. And I'm actually just going to that's fine for now. And now what I want to do, we'll say dot hamburger span, and here we'll just say a width of 100%, height of 2 pixels, and background color of var. We'll just say main text. Okay, and then we'll take that red background off. Okay, so there's our hamburger menu. That's looking good. Yeah, cool. Okay, and then let's just do 1% again. Okay, now the next thing we want to do here just want to check something out actually. Yeah, for our main element. Let's do overflow X hidden. Okay. Okay, so nearly there, guys. So if we just come underneath our yeah, let's come down here. So next thing I want to do, so we've got our hamburger spans. Next thing we want to do is just say about us text. So we can say dot about us text. We'll say grid column, and we'll just say one or span 12. So now if we come up to our about us section, well, that should be spanning 12 now. So we got, where's our about section here? Let's just do about us then. Okay, and then we can just say margin top here of 1 rem to give it some spacing. Like so. So that's now spanning 12. And then for the service tiles here, we'll say dot service tile. And we'll say grid column span 12 as well. So now they're nice and spaced out. And then we'll also just say dot projects, do the same thing for the projects as well. Okay, looking good. And then for the intro area, let's give that a go as well. We'll just say, we'll come up here, we'll say dot intro area, and here we can say grid column span 12. This is why I like working with grids. You can just like easily make your sites responsive with CSS grid. And the CTA area, we'll keep it as that for now. And then for the footer column, here we can just say dot footer column, and we'll just say grid column span 12 as well. So just come down to our footer now. Oh, footer column. And there you go, we've got that nice kind of footer column applied now. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We'll leave the CSS there. What I want to do now is just implement those final touches for our JavaScript. So let's come to our JavaScript file here. And I'm just going to say, we'll do const lines equals, and we'll just say documents. These are the lines underneath each of our clients. So we'll say document.query selector all. We'll just say .line like so. And what I want to do here is we'll just get an intersection observer up and running. So we'll come underneath here and we'll just say const options equals, and here we'll just have a threshold of 0.2. And you'll see we're doing this for in a minute. This basically means for all of the items that our intersection observer is observing, when 20% of it comes into the viewport, that's when we'll apply the animation. I'm going to do a const callback here. That's going to equal, that's going to take in all the entries of our intersection observer. We're going to loop through them all, say entries.for each. We'll say entry here. And then we can say if entry.is intersecting, then what do we want to do here? We'll just say entry dot target dot class list dot add. I'm just going to add an active class. Okay, and then we can do here const observer equals new intersection observer. We'll pass in the callback first, and then the options that we just created. Okay, and then what we're going to do here is we'll say const fade-ins equals document dot query selector all dot fade _in like so. And then what we can do, so the reason we've done this fade-ins after, not at the top, is because obviously we're creating all of these kind of elements here, which we apply the fade-in class to. So that's why we have to do it subsequently to, appending them all to the web page. So that's why we've done it down here. And now what we can do is we can say fade-ins dot for each, and we'll just say element, and then we can say observer dot observe the element, and then we'll just do the same thing for our lines like so. Okay, so now if we come down, you can see that our lines all appear now. They have that kind of nice fading effect. And then what I've got to do in our CSS file, we just need to specify at the top. So we'll just say, we'll come up here. I'll come underneath our kind of globals, underneath this section here. We'll just say dot fade in. And for this, we're going to start them off opacity of 0. And then we can just say transition of 1 second. And then we'll also just say we'll change transform to optimize the transformations. We'll say transform, and we'll say translate Y, and we'll just say here 20 pixels. And then when we apply the active class, so we'll just copy this down, fade in dot active like so, give it an opacity of 1, remove this, and we'll say translate it Y back to its normal position. Okay, so now let's try and see how this works. See, now we get that nice fading effect when we scroll down the page. Okay, so that's what all those fading classes did. And then when we scroll down to our clients, we get that nice subtle line fading effect. And there you go, there's our web page. So I'm going to wrap this tutorial up there, guys. We've created a nice responsive kind of landing page here. I think it looks really nice with these grids, and we've got a nice kind of professional looking footer here as well. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.